Well, I visited him one time. I lived on North Main Street in Canton. And I visited him, and he was a big, tall fella, and he talked freely, about his Bible, and he was in different things, and his mind was alert. Oh, I was in my 20s, early 20s. He was in his 80s. He was in his late 80s, I'm satisfied. Pretty close to 90-year-old. Big, tall, skinny fella. He was rather skinny, but he was tall and pretty straight built. And he'd almost lost his eyesight. As well as I remember, his eyelids had dropped, down pretty low. But he sat there and talked freely with me about things, and he was a pretty solemn man. He didn't talk more than was necessary. He just talked about his future life and things like that, and he was about his age. Well, I never was around him much when I was younger. Didn't know too much about him when he was younger. I remember when I was at that age, I was interested in him, like you are our relation, our woman. And I was in my 20s, and I was interested in talking to him. I went up there to visit him one time and told him who he was. I couldn't see well enough to tell who it was. And I told him who he was, and he seemed to relax to know that there's somebody comes in. All old people like for people to visit him. He came from, as far back as I know, from Swain County. I don't remember too much about our conversation, but I do remember us talking. He's sitting on the porch. They was three. My daddy and Perry and Lige. As the three of the boys. There was three girls, I guess. Aunt Mattie and Aunt Cindy and Aunt Ellie. And then there was Aunt Sari. But Aunt Sari, she was the oldest one of them, I think. And we used to visit her frequently because we liked them very much, and they had two sons about my age, Grover and Frank. I think he raised them. I think he raised them in Swain County, all of them. Near Brighton City, yeah.
But you've never been there.
No, I've never. Don't know where his home was. Their home was at. Around somewhere in Swain County, though. So
was she
was
still
dead.
No. You
don't
remember her?
No, I never did remember her. He's married the second time, but I never did remember her. Ethel over here at Oakley can tell. I wish you'd go over and let her. You get some most information she knows about the whole set. She says that she heard that our forefathers come from Texas. Now, if they come from Texas, back that time they come away. But she says the best information she can get on it that my daddy's daddy, our daddy's daddy, my grandfather's daddy come from the West, come from Texas. And she knows more about my people than I know myself. She says there's two versions of that she heard one source say that we come from the East, and the other said we come from the West. Could be possible that version of it's wrong. Speak of when he was, say when I was a boy, different things, about the work, the hard working things. When I heard him speak of when he was first married, he and my mother went across the Smoky Mountains, and I heard him say that what he had, all he had when he was married, he had a steer, a little mare, and they walked across Smoky Mountains into Tennessee, Little River, Tennessee, I believe. They was going there, starting at Copper Hill, I believe, to work in a mine, and she rode this little mare and carried France, that's my oldest brother, and there wasn't any road across the mountain, you know, it was a trail. And they got down to the river over there, and it started raining on them. You know, back then they didn't have any bridges, and they had to ford the rivers. And the river was up, and they couldn't get across, and they was all wet. And he left her and this little mare there in France, as a baby there. He left them there at the side of the river, and he went down the river a piece and got across on an old tree lap somewhere, and went to the nearest house and to try to find some matches, you know, where he see if he got to build a fire. And I think they invited them to this house, this farmer's house, and they spent the night there. And I don't know how her and him got across. I guess across from the tree lap to it, probably started the horse. You know, a horse can swim across. Yeah. And it probably, I think he said he started the horse across and got a brush at maybe the mare swim. And then the next day went on to their destination. My father was a strong man. He wasn't a large man, but his health was good up till a few years. After the children, most of them got grown. I heard him speak a lot of times about working his oxen. I remember this in particular. He told me he was hauling some tan bark to Whittier. He used to call it Yellow Hill. No, that Cherokee was Yellow Hill, but that night. That time Cherokee went down to Yellow Hill.
Is that when you were
out there? Yellow Hill. Yeah, that's the new name. It used to be Yellow Hill.
I didn't know that.
And he used to haul, the nearest railroad was Whittier. And he hauled tan bark to Whittier, and he said he had two yoke of oxen. And he had this little red Devon yoke in front that was older than the others, and they minded better. They was well trained. And the river was up, and he tried to decide whether to cross it or not. And so he finally made up his mind to cross it. And it was up more than he thought it was. And you know, there was a roadway on the other side. And he got in the river, and he lost all his tan bark. And he held on to the running gears of the wagon, and he kept hollering at, most of them carried a whip, you know, and hollering at the little yoke in front. And they went to fight, and they was having to swim, you know, and fighting and pulling, and they just barely made the roadway on the other side. Instead, if he'd had the big yoke in front, which he did sometimes, why, they wouldn't have minded so well, see, and they would all been there. Because there's high banks along, see, and this little roadway went out on the other side, and that's what he was scared of, afraid he was going to miss that, and he went hauling that little, and his tan bark was all gone, see. Him and two other fellers. Pink Adams was one of the men, and I can't think of the other man's name, but they went to the west on this to look for work, you know. They rode the train out, and I think it was right after they was married, I think. And I heard him tell about that they went there, and they like to come very near getting robbed, you know. They went to this house, and they overheard somebody down under it preparing, you know, to rob them, hold them, maybe shoot them. They thought they took some money with them, you know. They had to have some. And one of them played off sick and told him that he'd have to get outside some way. But he had these spells, you know. And somewhere or another they got away that way, left that place. It was in Seattle, Washington. Seattle, Washington. That's where it was. Big timber. That's some of the virgin forest, you know. They was cutting timber, I think. I don't remember too much about it. But they was working in the timber, cutting timber.